Yeah, I did that. Failing to adequately secure the boat 2 summers ago meant it got loose. The bow swung around and it spent the afternoon rubbing on a rock. The upside is, at least I know this mahogany just under the surface is in lovely condition. The downside is I've hollowed out a little bit of it. So I had wondered about, do I refair the entire side of the hull to sort of take out this very shallow divot? It's hard to show on the camera. I mean, it is very shallow, but it's there. Or do I fill it with something, sand it fair with the rest of the hull, and then restain, repaint, etc. I'm going to try the latter. I'm going to try and get some wood filler in there that's going to hopefully stand up to moisture. And that will be this summer's experiment. She hasn't been in the water in 2 years, so I'm expecting a lot of shrunken dry planks to leak until she takes up a bit, but this is what we're going to deal with first. Now, I just noted on the container it said keep from freezing, and the container has been in an unheated building all winter, so this may not stick as well as it should, but it's all we got at the moment, so we'll give it a try. Okay, this has been about 24 hours, I think. Just what with one thing or another going on. It is nice and hard. It seems to be adhering. I think I'm going to sand a bit and see. This may be a little low. Sand this a bit and see what we end up with here. Okay, so smoothing into the edges nicely. There is a little wave right here. I don't know if you can see it. You know what? Can we see the edge? See any daylight? It's just well, I need a longer straight edge. It's not huge, but right there. So I think I'll add a little bit. Okay, so we've raised this area. I'll let that dry, and then we'll get back to sanding. See if we can make this pretty well indistinguishable, profile-wise anyway, from the rest of the hull. More to come. All right, this is, well, early the next morning. This is hardened up. It's fairly humid out, so it doesn't feel quite as tough as the last time, but we're gonna sand it down and see if we can get a shape out of it. let that helicopter go by while we take a look at our hull profile here. That's not too bad. We've raised this a little, although I feel like this darker semicircle is slightly sunken, although just trying to see if I can see daylight. And really, on this part of the hull, we should have this straight edge of rocking a little, not necessarily flat, but it's not bad. I don't know. I'm not seeing daylight. So, and this is feathered very nicely into the surrounding paint. We may give that a coat of paint just to see what it looks like. We can always come back to sanding and add another little bit here if we need it. Okay, spoke too soon. I'm going to smear another little skim layer here. Try and deal with that ridge, which is a combination ridge and depression that was in here. So we'll give that a few hours and see what it looks like. Obviously the whole hull needs some TLC, which we need to get to. And all of this varnish needs to get knocked right back. Likely so we can start again, we'll see. Paint's a little lumpy from sitting in the garage for a year and a half. But what we're gonna see is just what kind of surface shape we have. And do more sanding if we need to. God, that's pretty gross, eh? All right, let's see what that looks like when it dries. So a couple more days, and we're looking at the shape of the hull after a couple coats of paint. So the indent was there. I think it filled out all right. So I said the paint is suspect, but I think I'm gonna leave it for now and get a new batch and just maybe a light sand. That's fared out okay, I think. Okay, good. So what I've done is taken our gloopy, lumpy paint, did not fare that well over the winter, and just kind of slop it on some of the areas that went bare, just as a added coat. The hull on the whole is not in bad shape, except for here. You can see this has gone totally soft around the rear frame, and someone has sort of built it up with putty, which is still a bit flexible. So that's gonna need some assistance at some point. I'm expecting that's gonna leak fairly significantly. And you can see the spaces between the boards along there. It's gonna be interesting. And at least this keel is a solid piece. not laminated as far as I can tell. Although it does look like it split at one point and was refastened. So yeah, let's get it in the water and see if it'll take off. Yeah, the lines are a mess. But aside from that, this is amazing. What it's all about. All right. So approaching season's end. Not a lot of tiller time, but worth revisiting. A bumpy paint job. But I think in terms of a patch, this boat has sat in the water for over a week straight and a couple of sails, and I don't see any sign that this patch is not holding up. But of course, a whole summer in the water would be a different story. Anyway, I think that's okay for now. Let me take a look at that hull shape. Actually filled up okay. I'll try and do something with the varnish and the rest of the paint next season. So that's good.